got to hide yourself, Stefan, too. You know that.
Take one, Mark.
Hi, this is Richard Tabinger. I'm the producer of the event and also CEO of Conscious Marketer. And we have an incredible panel for you today. I can't wait to get this going. Before we get started, and I'm going to hand this over to John Tarr, who's going to be the host today. I just wanted to mention that we have 3 other talks today. We have a talk at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And that's with James Ross, the CEO of Hedge Chatter. And he's going to be talking on AI, social data, and the new way to trade stocks and cryptos. At 4 p.m., we have a real treat. We have American venture capitalist Tim Draper. He's one of the kind of the senior most people in this crypto space. You're going to want to hear him. And then at 7 p.m. Pacific time, we have Justin Reclaw, how to mitigate risk while building digital wealth. Every one of these topics is awesome. And make sure you check them out. If you're watching this on the live page, on the right, there's a schedule and there's also replays from our talks yesterday. And with that, I'm going to hand this over to John. Welcome, everyone.
All right. Hey, everybody. It's John Tarr here. Welcome back to the Future of Money. Now, before we get started, I've got a quick disclaimer for you. Remember, the content of this summit is provided for informational purposes only, and it's not intended to provide any specific tax, accounting, legal, or other investment advice, or provide the basis for any financial or investment decision. You should always consult with a licensed professional to seek advice specific to your own situation. All right, let's get going. So welcome back to the largest online cryptocurrency summit ever, the Future of Money. I'm John Tarr. I'm an entrepreneur, investor, founder of Totally Crypto, and the co-host and co-producer of the event. For this next little get-together here, I'm super excited, and I'm going to introduce you to 3 guys that I know really well, and I'm super happy to have on here. But before I do, I want to mention that on this page, you're going to see a button for the cryptocurrency training kit. It's a special offer during the summit that gets you over 40 hours of talks, 25 plus speaker bonuses, and a program that Roger Bryan and I put together called the Cryptocurrency Mastery Program. The regular price is $497, but you can secure yours now for just $297. In my opinion, it's the most comprehensive training package on the market. So make sure to take advantage of that right now. Now, I have some fancy bios in front of me here from these 3 guys. One of them you've probably heard of. 2 of them you probably have zero idea who they are. But I'm going to introduce them in my own way because I have a personal relationship with all of them. I'm super excited that they joined me. Some of them I had to twist their arms to get on this panel. But first of all, let me introduce Cody Sperber. Cody Sperber is the clever investor. He's all over the internet and social media. You've seen him in real estate and in crypto. I've known Cody since, I want to say, 2006. And when I met him, he's a kid now, but he was a kid then. Definitely was an up-and-coming guy. You knew he was super smart. And he's kind of built this social media and real estate empire. And I'm super excited to have him. Welcome, Cody. Thank you for being here.
I'm excited to be here. What up, John? What's up, everybody?
So bringing back the old school days here.
I know.
Yeah, and then Ryan Dombrowski was a co-founder of Totally Crypto, my partner in a training called $1 Million Audience, a close friend, one of the sharpest crypto minds that I know. Been a marketer and an investor for a long time. Ryan, welcome, dude. I'm super excited to have you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Anytime I get a chance to sit around with some smart dudes and talk about crypto, I'm all for it. So excited to be here.
I believe you said, I really don't want to, but I will because I can't say no. To you. That's, I believe, verbatim what you said. So, and Ryan had to take some time off from Netflix to join us today. So,
right. Very busy watching some old reruns, Dukes of Hazzards and things like that.
Let's all appreciate that he ran out of stuff to watch today. So, and then finally, my next guest and last guest is Jonathan White. Jonathan lives in Santa Barbara, California, and is a customer and client, one of my bigger affiliates, super bright guy. He's an advisor on a lot of different crypto projects. Marketing mind is unbelievable. And over time, we've, I like to think, become better friends. Jonathan, welcome, man. I'm super excited to have you here.
Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to promote the summit, push it out to everybody. And I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, cool. This is going to be a super fun panel because I really like entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are fun. They're visionaries. And I think that a lot of entrepreneurs are taking advantage of this market. So let me kind of lead with our first question here. I think, people always try to put people in a box, whether it's Cody, Ryan, Jonathan, myself, and they'll say, well, what do you do? And it's hard sometimes to say, well, what do I do? Because entrepreneurs are so good at doing a lot of things. So what I think is specifically, we find solutions to problems. That's what we do. And so lots of time, the solution that is the present solution isn't the future solution. So I'm going to give you 2 quotes here. Henry Ford said, if I'd given people what they wanted, I would have come up with faster horses. And Wayne Gretzky said that he skated to not where the puck was at, but where the puck was going to be. So in your opinion, given these 2 quotes, and I'm going to start with you, Ryan, where is the puck going to be in crypto?
Oh, geez.
Yeah, put you right on the spot there. But from a big picture, where do you see this market? And I know you've been in it for a long time. And so I kind of want to get your thoughts.
I mean,
then I'm going to go to Jonathan.
A lot of us most of us here have been in it for a long time, but it's still so early in crypto. This is like, you can compare it to .com and stuff like that. And this is like, we're still just laying down the wires to be able to make this stuff all work. So to say where is it going to go is like, you're kind of just, you're dreaming at this point. But I think that crypto is definitely going to be very integrated into all of our lives globally. And to a point where like most people aren't even going to realize that that they're using crypto, or that the applications they're using is backed by blockchain or whatever the case. It's just going to be so seamless in our lives. Just like you pull up an app on your iPhone and you pay for your Starbucks with the Starbucks app. So where it's going to go, I don't know, but I think it's going to be very, very interesting for sure.
What about you, Jonathan? Where do you see, crypto and specifically blockchain? Where do you see the disruption or where the puck's going to be on a macro level?
Yeah, I mean, I also would agree with Ryan. I think as someone who's been in ad tech and marketing for over 10 years and working in a lot of different markets, you really get to see these markets kind of open up and grow and really expand, sometimes in a really short period of time. And I've actually been following Bitcoin, crypto since about 2014, but the last couple of years, it was really becoming more and more certain that, hey, this thing is really close to taking off. There's so many different applications, even in the ad space, for example. I thought how valuable this could be. And now there's actually some cryptocurrencies out there applying, blockchain, smart contracts and payments to the ad space, which is really cool. So I definitely think markets tend to become more efficient rather than less efficient. So it's just kind of a snowball effect, and things are going to keep growing. And yes, things may change. They may modify from how they look now, but the industry as a whole is, nearly unstoppable, in my opinion.
Awesome. What about you, Cody? Where do you think the puck's going to be?
I wish I had a crystal ball and was able to say, hey, I really accurately think it's going to go over here with regulation and a lot of the mass market adoption that's happening right now. It's going to be really interesting to see. I think that there's a lot of friction in different industries that blockchain technology can come in and help minimize that friction. I'm in the real estate space. So first thing I thought of was like, how could we, get rid of, title insurance and insurance companies and closing agents? And could we automate through smart contracts this process of buying and selling a house or a piece of property? That same thought can almost be applied to almost every industry, from supply chain management to, financial services. So I think after regulation, we're going to have a much clearer idea, but the market adoption is so small right now, as more and more entrepreneurs start buying into this idea, the entrepreneurs are going to drive the industry, right? They're going to be the thought leaders, and they're going to say, "Oh, nobody's even thought of this over here, so I'm going to try and solve this problem," like you said. And I'm excited to see the next. I want to get through 2018 to see what regulations and stuff kind of come in our way, and I'm hearing through a lot of really high level friends that are coming out of Silicon Valley and that are in that world, that a lot more people are learning how to code and work with the blockchain. That's a big problem right now, is there's just not enough talent. So as more talent comes and the entrepreneurs take hold of it, I think that the solutions are going to actually start getting proposed. We got to slow down the ICO craze a little bit. There's a lot of BS ICOs out there. So once that comes through the other end and some good projects come to market, I've been watching a couple good ones lately that are allowing you to do things like sell your unused space on your computer for video and stuff like that. So I think that's going to be what the future is a lot more people taking back control of their security, taking control of their data, and getting paid for their data and their time like they should be.
Let me ask a follow-up question, because that's pretty interesting. And towards the end of the interview, I know you guys are all involved in some different projects, and I want to talk about those. But what do you think? So where does, and this was not one of my original questions, but you mentioned ICOs. We've all invested in ICOs. We've all been a part of different projects as advisors in some sense or another. So where does regulation fit in there, in your opinion? Now, none of us are attorneys or regulators, but who decides what's a good project and what's not a good project? And some people will say, well, hey, this market right now is kind of the freest market that there is, and the market's going to decide what a good project is. What do you guys think about that? I also understand that, and you guys understand, that markets are going to move with liquidity, and liquidity is a direct result of increased confidence. So, Cody, I'll come back to you with that, and then we'll go to the other guys. What role is regulation going to play, in your opinion?
I don't think that regulation should decide whether it's a good project or a bad project. I do think the market will take care of that. But what I do think should happen is there should be a fair playing field for Main Street investors. They should not have to walk into something that is a bright, shiny toilet, where they don't know any better. The education in this industry isn't caught up with the marketing hype that's happening out there. And a lot of Main Street investors are getting caught up in the marketing hype, and they're making bad decisions. And yes, it's on them, but I think the playing field should be leveled out. And so regulation, there should be clarity. That's what I want. I want clarity. I want to know that this is a security, this is a token. It's very clearly labeled. Here's my tax. As an American, I want to know what my tax challenges are or incentives for playing in this space. And right now, it's just not clear enough. There's a lot of gray, ambiguous areas. And as soon as they get clarity, I think a lot more of the Main Street investors and even Wall Street's going to come in and open up the whole market, where I don't know what our market adoption is right now, but if gold is 11 trillion or 14 trillion or whatever it is, and crypto's under $1 billion, we got so much growth that has to happen, but there's like this bottleneck right now because of people being scared about regulation. So that's my 2 cents.
Cool, man. Yeah, if there's one thing us entrepreneurs hate, it's gray, right? It's like black, white, what's gray? What's that all about? Jonathan, what's your thought on that? On what kind of, because you're an advisor on some projects. We're going to talk about those in a minute. What do you think with regards to regulation?
Yeah, I think I'm not big on over-regulating in general. I do agree when there's uncertainty, it does create fear. And as an investor, it's in a sense up to you to try to make wise decisions, be informed, right? Even things that are heavily regulated, let's say the stock market. It's kind of up to you or whoever you trust with your money to look into these stocks and companies and see what's valuable. I have a lot of people just hopping into ICOs last year, and I'm telling them, hey, fold more hands than you play. Don't, get into or invest in something when it's some guy, maybe the first question I would always ask an ICO is, where are you located? Is this two guys in their basement in Romania or something? So to me, I'd rather see not over-regulation, but people being smart and being wise and looking at projects with potential. A lot of these regulations are to protect the consumer, and some of that's good. But even when you're investing in startups, stocks, et cetera, you're always assessing a project. You're assessing the team. And in one sense, if you invest in a startup as an angel investor, that thing's going to IPO, it's going to sell out. Maybe there's some kind of payout or the money's gone, right? With crypto, actually, if the project isn't following through, you can exit. You can sell your tokens or cryptos and say, hey, I don't think these people are going to pull this off. And I also think this year, as the regulation becomes more clear, it also requires the people running these projects to also execute on them, because it's show and tell, right? I mean, people are throwing money at the wall, but you probably wouldn't throw money into a startup that was just an idea and they actually haven't done anything. But there are a lot of solid ones out there doing some good things. So I just don't want to see regulation hurt those projects that are good, because there's a lot of scammy ones. So as an investor, let's be wise. Let's try to assess these projects and, look at the probability of them panning out and being good and having a real team and a real project, rather than waiting on I mean, we all saw in front of Congress, the regulators, they don't always have the best grip on the industry. So
yeah, they might not be the most informed.
Right.
Yes. The internet's a little older than blockchain. Could you imagine what that would look like at a blockchain event like Zuck had with those guys? So real quick, Ryan, I want to get your thoughts. Thank you, guys. I want to remind everybody, if you've got some questions for these fellas, I've got a bunch sitting in front of me, but just comment and ask your questions for Cody, Jonathan, and Ryan. Make sure to like this, share this. I guess I didn't mention that, so thanks, Richard, for the reminder. Ryan, what's your thoughts? I know you've got a huge pulse. Like, you're in a lot of these projects. You're an investor primarily, and sort of have retired as an entrepreneur. What's your thoughts on regulation and what kind of role it should play?
Well, regulation in regards to the ICO. So when you're talking about regulation, the purpose of the regulation is to protect investors. And a lot of the stuff that's going on, the shadiness going on with ICOs and stuff, doesn't really need any more regulation, I don't think, because, I mean, they're doing things that are already considered like illegal, like, false advertising and misleading advertising and marketing, blatantly stealing people's money. I'm not trying to say all ICOs are that way at all, but there's obviously a lot of fraud going on in the space. So I'm not sure that more regulation is going to solve any of that, especially since, like, these guys are super, super creative and they just find new ways to pull the same kind of heist, more or less. So I agree with these guys that we don't need so much more regulation as much as we just the market needs to work itself out, more or less, and people just need to be more cautious and be very careful about what they're doing. And it's hard because some of these ICOs and the marketing they do, they put millions and millions of dollars in presenting such a great case for being such a good investment, so to speak. And so it can be tough to get caught up in that. And I've been on the wrong side of that a few times. And so you just have to be careful on how you're investing. I think it's just really what it comes down to.
Yeah, I think that's something, and I'll end with this, and I'm going to hit the next question. And again, remember, if you do have some questions for these guys, to just ask them in the comments, and Richard's going to put them over to me. But you can say buyer beware. Human beings, like we talked about, and you'll always hear me say, you're always going to go human being, right? That's what we do. We get caught up in the greed. We get caught up in wanting the shortcut and the quick money. And so that's one of the reasons, Ryan, that we started Totally Crypto, was to educate people. And that's one of the reasons that we joined Richard for this summit, was to bring bright minds like you guys in to kind of carry that message of temperance, so to speak. So I appreciate you guys being on here and talking. I want to get to the next question. Cody, I'm going to start with you because I know you have some different training in this space. So let's talk about the average guy and the average gal. That's kind of who the Clever Investor serves. There's people out there and they just want to get ahead financially. They're not looking to go all Elon Musk and start the next Tesla. How do they play in this space? How does a beginner get started? Let's start with Cody, and then we'll move to Jonathan and Ryan.
I mean, first off, I would consider myself a very smart. I've been in the real estate investing space for over a decade. I've been through ups and downs. I've analyzed thousands of deals. I would consider myself a seasoned investor that is pretty, tech savvy. When I first went into the crypto space, it was like, putting together an IKEA piece of furniture in, Chinese. I could not figure out even just how to get my money into the space, let alone secure my money, know how to move it around. I never even heard of the phrase ICO before. I don't even think it was invented a few years ago. It just is something that's new. So I was really out of my league, and I'm a pretty smart guy, right? And it took me a while to really immerse myself in the language and figure it out. So step number one, by far, is always educate yourself. Find some people, to me, if you're doing this 1 or 2 years, there's, a lot of people are saying they're experts, right? I don't necessarily know, obviously follow as many so-called expert as you can, but really try to find a community of people where you can get support, just like Totally Crypto. I've been in that group for a long time, and I've been a fly on the wall, and I've learned a tremendous amount just by watching the struggles and the challenges and the conversations going on between all these people. So get educated, find a really cool, start simple. You should get into understanding just the fundamental basics of what is Bitcoin, what is blockchain, what is a wallet, all the fundamentals, before you ever consider putting your money into the space. Even if you're like, hey, I just want to put up $500 and I want to buy some cryptos, the market is so volatile. If you're not a seasoned investor, you could be up $50 within a second and down the whole 500 within another second. It is so volatile right now because it's so small. And if you don't have the I don't even know what the right word. What's the right word? The wherewithal, the ability, the risk tolerance. Thank you.
Yeah.
To take it, it's very. I mean, I've literally told people on social, because I'm I'm big into Instagram following, and I have a big following, and I would say hey, grab this coin. I just grabbed this coin, and somebody would grab it, and I'd get 100 direct messages 3 hours later, I made all this money. Thank you so much for, telling me about it. And then the next day they're like, I want to murder you. The coin has gone down. Why did you get me into that? I'm like, I don't know. So you got to be really careful gunslinging. That's my best advice to start off. Immerse yourself in the language. Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's good advice. Jonathan, what do you think? How's a beginner and the average Joe get in this market?
Yeah, I would say, the first thing is, like Cody said, education, understand what is it, understand what you want to get into, and define your goals. I mean, I have some people that I just know from the gym or something, hey, should I get into this? I mean, it's a rare opportunity because usually if someone's like, I've got $500, I might say, well, I mean, even if you get 300% return, you could also maybe just not eat out and create that money and not risk it. So do you really need it? Then maybe don't invest. But people who do have some money that they've set aside that they can put into this, there is a lot of big potential. And I would say, look at the top cryptos first and foremost. Yes, you may find an ICO or something early and it's going to do 3,000%, let's say. But what they may not realize is people investing in these, they also might have put money into 10 of those and the other 9 did nothing or they were flat. Or now a lot of the ICOs that were going since December, I see them go live. People got in at $1, they're 10 cents. So right now, I think it's definitely better to spread the risk a bit, but look at the coins in the top market cap, look at ones where there's a team actually in place, or, some people actually behind this thing. Whenever I'm talking to early stage cryptos, I always reach out to the founders. I try to talk to them and just see who are they, what are they about. But a lot of it's risk tolerance. To me, it's like I was saying about angel investing earlier, that money's out there and crypto is going to go up, or it's going to go up some and you're going to take profit, or maybe don't do it. If you're kind of just doing it to throw it in, hoping for just some windfall of profits that you're going to turn $10 into $1 million, it's kind of a simplistic view of how these marketplaces work. So it's really the wrong mindset. Whereas maybe if you just put that into Bitcoin or Ethereum, and maybe it's going to do another 2, 5, 10x in the next 2 to 5 years, and then you can look back and not be so stressed about buying in, buying out. I'm definitely a huge proponent of, even if you got in really high back in January, never panic sell. It never works. Just hold. Why not? And if you're investing what you can afford to lose, you're less worried about maybe that money disappearing. But it's relatively unlikely that these top cryptos are just going to, say, go to zero overnight. So even if they are declining, maybe you pull your money out and you took some losses. But again, if you're being smart, you're investing what you can afford to lose. You're not looking at the charts every day, all frantic and what happened here? What happened here? I mean, the reality is we don't always know why the market's going up or down. But if you have a bigger goal and vision in mind, then you're, as Cody was saying, you kind of have makes your guts a little tougher to sit there and not be as affected by those swings. So that's what I would say for people looking to get in.
Awesome. And Ryan, when we started Totally Crypto, it was about a case study for us, but it was also about education. Everybody was new, right? Everybody's new at crypto because, Bitcoin started going up and all of a sudden there's all this hype around it. So what do you say to those beginning people that are coming in?
Yeah, I remember trying to have a conversation with my father-in-law who was asking about crypto, and it's pretty much impossible to actually try to explain this stuff to somebody and walk them through it. I think that before you start investing in something like this, you just need to get involved and at a little level, take $10, buy $10 worth of crypto, of Bitcoin, then send it over to another exchange to buy some altcoins. Get familiar with that process of what it is to own, what a public key is and what it is to secure a private key and what an altcoin is and what you're buying. And then, downloading the wallets and visiting their GitHubs and understanding all that process. It's very, very not intuitive. It's very difficult at first to get your head around all this stuff. And it's not very user friendly. This is an industry that is being developed by developers and cryptographers, so this is not people that speak like human beings. So just go through the process to understand what it is that you're buying and what it is that you're doing and what the point of all this is. And it will send you down a rabbit hole that you might regret, because you'll spend so much time just out of curiosity understanding, getting to learn more about privacy and security and what the point of all of this is, and money and inflation, all these different things that you never would have thought of before, and just get involved. And that will send you down the path of learning and understanding this so you can get at a level of being a smart investor in this area.
Awesome. Yeah, I think there's definitely, one of the reasons that this market plays so well to entrepreneurs and sophisticated investors is because we do have that risk tolerance, right? Because it is gut check time. It reminds me, if you play craps in Vegas and the table's hot and then the next thing you know, they clear all your chips and you're like, whoa, what just happened? That's the crypto market. And so for a beginner, you just have to understand it's volatile. And I think you all have made great points to just have a long-term vision of why you're getting in this and start small. So let's move on to the next question. And then after this question, I want to talk about some projects that you guys are involved in. This question, I'm going to start with Jonathan. So there's a lot of opportunity to profit in this space. And so in this space right now, Jonathan, where do you see the opportunity, not for a Tim Draper or some of these big guys, and not for the beginner that's just starting out, but for me, for you, for Cody, for Ryan, for people that invest, for entrepreneurs that play in this space, for non-entrepreneurs that have a little bit of a nest egg that they want to play in? Where's the opportunity for them to succeed in this market?
Yeah, so you bring up a good point. I mean, there's other ways to approach this market outside of purely investing. For me, as I was saying earlier, I've seen, as a marketer, I've seen trends and markets kind of play out and explode. I've even seen things become overregulated, and then it kind of bounces back to the middle. So a couple of years ago, as things were going in the crypto market, I saw there's all these opportunities for information. I mean, there's going to be, just like other financial markets, and this is kind of even better. It's a mix of finance and tech, but there's definitely opportunity for information through websites. These sites we follow, CoinMarketCap, if you look on Alexa, their traffic has obviously grown exponentially because people are on there looking at prices all day. There's mining. I've done a little cloud mining. I own some miners. They're actually really cheap right now because when the coins go down, they get super cheap. That's something else people can do if maybe they have less risk tolerance, for example. They could get some miners going, and they're less kind of worried about the whims of the market up and down. So as an entrepreneur, there are all these different angles. You don't have to necessarily go. Maybe if you have something that applies to your company, in working with startups, I had a couple that were just like, oh, let's just do an ICO. But it's like, if you don't really have a purpose, you don't want to do that. But if you have an existing company, you could create a crypto and do an ICO. But I would say in general, there's so many other ways to approach the market through information, whether you're creating a site, whether you're, learning and feel that enough to tell others. To me, what happened was, all of a sudden, people knew the industry I was in and what I did, and they just started asking me, hey, what do you think about Bitcoin? What do you think about Ethereum? What do you think about this? And I knew a lot, and I realized, I'm not going to say I know everything or I'm the top expert, but so many people just don't even know the basics. So there's an opportunity to share those things, and you can monetize that through a site, through a newsletter, through social media, without putting any money into a crypto if you didn't want, or you could use those funds to then put them into the cryptos and play the different sides of the market. There's also trading. Trading is definitely, I got really into currency trading. I do a little trading in the crypto markets. Definitely a lot tougher. You definitely need to get out there, read some books on technical analysis, etc. No one wakes up as like a great trader. You can paper trade and learn that way. But if someone was, like you said, further along, maybe they've got a nest egg. A lot of the top traders are, retired engineers, data guys and stuff. So they may want to approach it from that angle. If you want to analyze the charts and do all that, there are a lot of opportunities, even when the market's swinging, to try to catch some of these buying and shorting and everything. But yeah, there's all kinds of different opportunities. Education, what we're doing here, investing, again, mining. I mean, you're mining. We don't know what's going to happen with energy, but hey, to me, I thought, I'm going to be involved in processing all these transactions of the world. Why not, right? And you can have a little piece of it. So there's a lot of great ways to get involved. You could advise or join an ICO project or something as well to learn and maybe get some tokens out of that without putting any money in. So yeah, that's kind of been my approach.
Cool. I'm going to move to Ryan, and I kind of want to segue with this because, Ryan, you're the one that told me about proof of stake, proof of work, masternodes, and I know you're real big into those. We don't have to lead in that direction. I was just going to say, Jonathan was talking about mining. What opportunities are out there for people that are more advanced in this space beyond just buying some Bitcoin?
Yeah, masternodes and staking rewards, stuff like that are great, especially in a market like this where it's a little bit, you don't know which direction it's going to go. Masternodes allow you to secure the networks and be a player in some of these coins. It costs you like $5 a month to set up a VPS server, and you just run a script. Sounds complicated, but it's really not. You just follow a little walkthrough to set this up. And just for having that $5 computer basically running all the time, you get paid rewards. So you get some dividend payments, and it's a way to make some passive income while being in the crypto space. So that's a pretty nice way to generate some revenue. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, what other opportunities are you yourself taking a look at that you think might be impactful for a more sophisticated investor like you are?
Masternodes are really great. Mining in those kind of areas, and otherwise, I don't do a whole lot of trading. But if you have the skills and the ability to trade, there's a tremendous amount of opportunity there.
Awesome. Cody, how about you? For guys that are playing at the level that we're playing at, where do you see the opportunities in this space?
For me, I'm first off, I want to clarify, I'm very bullish in the crypto space. Like, I think that whatever we're dealing with right now is just the kind of the calm before the storm that's about to happen. I think crypto is about to launch. And so I'm looking at a lot of different altcoin projects and stuff right now. And I actually created a little list I wanted to share with you guys, because this is how I think about when I'm going to pick an altcoin or go into a project. This is kind of how I think about things. And I'm very analytical and technical in nature. So I think this will help.
Cool.
First off, is the coin that you're considering moving into, is it limited supply? If our money right now, and one of the things that was so sexy about crypto when I first heard about it was, I look at our national debt and our money doesn't just have no value, it has negative value. And when you understand how money works and money is created, it scares the crap out of you, because you're like, oh man, there's got to come an end to this game that the government is playing on money creation. So I really like the idea of having digital money, frictionless systems and processes for financial services. So, but if there's unlimited supply, like there is right now, where we just print money, then the project's not going to be very good. So that's number one. Number two, do they solve a real world problem? A lot of times, whether it's an ICO or a coin that's already trading, if it doesn't solve a real world problem, and there's not unlimited demand kind of from it, then I don't think that it's going to be a project that's going to stand the test of time. Especially now, because a lot of great projects are coming on market from a lot of really smart people, and I think those projects are gonna dominate a lot of the different industries. I look for obviously scalability. Is the code global? Ryan mentioned GitHub. Like, not a lot of investors take the time to go look at the code depository of a project to see if there's actually any freaking code there, because sometimes there's not, and it shocks you when you realize, oh wow, this is just an ERC20 token that's like not really doing much. So is there a global scale to this? Protocols. I'm big into protocols right now. When you think about the internet, when the internet launched, nobody owns the protocols, right? It's an open source thing. But if you and there's two main protocols with the internet. There's IP, we've all heard of that. That's your address. And then there's TCP, which is your connection. Can you imagine if you owned the protocols to the internet? Like, your company owned you'd be the richest company on planet Earth. And in crypto, you have an opportunity to invest in companies that are development and controlling protocols, right? Ethereum is a protocol. Right? These platforms where other applications are coming onto it, those are the protocols. And so I look for protocols, like fat protocols. I want to invest in projects that are scalable and that other entrepreneurs can jump on and actually build upon and make it better. And interoperability, does the code play nice with others? This is a great standalone project, but can it work with other projects in the space? If it can, I'm like, cool. I like interoperability. And it shouldn't matter, but it matters big time right now. What's the chatter, right? Are you in the Telegram group here in the chatter? Are you following the Twitter feeds? Are you really heavily seeing hype and marketing and promotion going around these projects? Because that's what's driving the market right now. And so if it's not, if a company needs to do like MLM style internet marketing launches, the chances of that project actually being super legit is less, right? Because you shouldn't have to do MLM style stuff. There should be no guaranteed returns. None of that stuff should be happening in a project that you're putting your money in. And then the last thought I have is security. You know, are they taking security super seriously? Are you able to secure your money and your tokens or your coins? And so that's how I vet these projects. And I think ICOs are cool because that's where the big money, it's like being a venture capitalist. You know, kind of spread your money around to a couple ICOs. And I made my bulk of my returns in crypto. I invested in like 30 ICOs when I first came in. 28 of them did nothing, where I either broke even, just cashed out at what I put in, or they totally bombed. My money's gone. And I hit big on 2. And when I say hit big, like over $1 million, like it was like life-changing returns. And so you can make a ton of money in the ICOs, but the ones that hit big helped me develop that list that I just went through, because I started looking back and going, oh my God, I wasn't thinking like this when I was first playing in the game.
Dude, that's a great list, man. That's a great list. Thank you for sharing that. And, you know, for real, everybody, like if you go back and watch this recording, if you didn't write that down, you want to write that list down, because I've been in the space a long time, and that's just a great list. And you're also going to hear, you know, we're day 2 of this, and you're going to hear protocol a lot. And what you said there was an insightful moment for me. I mean, imagine if you owned the internet, basically, right? Like you own the internet. That's a pretty good business to be in. So that's an awesome list. Thank you. Yeah, that's cool, man. So let's talk about real quick, guys. I could do this for hours. We've got so much that I want to ask you guys and talk about for reasons like that. Everything you're saying is pretty insightful. I don't have hours. I've got about another 10 minutes or so. Let's talk about projects that you like, not from a pump and dump kind of perspective, but why do you like these projects? Why are you involved in them? I know, Ryan, you're just totally an investor. Let's start with you. Is there any project that you dig?
It's hard to not, read through some of these sites and white papers and stuff and not get excited about a lot of them. There's so many different projects. And a lot of the stuff that we were talking about here with interoperability and just the blockchains and stuff like that is really cool. I like some really small cap kind of hidden gems, if you will, like Gincoin, especially since we were talking about masternodes and stuff. Gin lets you so setting up a masternode you got to be a little bit tech savvy to set that up, and Gin is a platform that allows you to do it with like 3 clicks. So basically anyone can set this up. Komodo is a really great project. They're just doing all sorts of stuff that's just pretty much mind-blowing in terms of this space. We could talk all day.
Yeah, let me go by now, Jen. I'm in, by the way, because of you. So thank you for that. And then let me go buy some Komodo. Too bad we're live, so everybody's going to beat me to it. But no, that's awesome. Thank you for that.
Well, I mean, we'll clarify though. What's interesting that I found, anyways, is that a great project does not necessarily mean that it's going to be reflected in the price. Like Komodo's been a great project for a long time, and it's just one of those things that just is. It has at times struggled to keep up with the rest of the market, but it's probably one of the most interesting and fascinating and talented teams out there. So, a great project does not always mean this is where the money is going to be made.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. Thank you for that. Jonathan, you're an advisor on some projects. Anything you want to mention there about that? What do you like about pick 1 or 2 and tell us what you like about them?
Sure. Yeah. Just echoing what you said. I mean, not pump and dumps. Even some VCs, they just try to come in for a heavy discount and then flip it when it goes live. But a lot of that game is dying because they're going live so low anyway. So for me, I'm always looking at, the team, the trajectory, the scalability, what's the marketplace. One that I'm very close to is Turnio. They just went live with their public sale. They're, SEC compliant. I think it's a great crypto. They're in the advertising space, which is where I'm from. And in advertising, you have these problems of delayed payments, fraud, et cetera, between advertiser and publisher. And so, the idea is through blockchain, smart contracts, et cetera, you can deal with these problems. I mean, any of us in advertising, we've seen this, right? The person's slow to pay, maybe they don't pay, maybe there's a fraud problem. So between payments, fraud, et cetera, they can come alongside a lot of ad networks, ad agencies, and use their platform to help with those issues. In addition, they've also, and it's been third-party verified, they have a blockchain that can do 1 million transactions a second. As far as I know, I don't know of another blockchain doing that, but you can find them on Twitter, and they're they have all the details and videos and the third-party verification. But this is a real team in America in the ad space doing real things, making something really happen. Where to me, I know it's a huge industry, and I really, the problem is very personal to me because I've dealt with that. Another one that's very interesting is called Menlo. It's kind of a angel list, but for ICOs. I mean, they're at a little bit of a stale position with the potential ICO regulation, but if you've done an ICO, you know the complexity of doing that and sending it and all that. So what they've done is created a decentralized platform that will go live and be out there where people can put up the ICOs. There's the reviews and information, all that, and more with the click of a button. Cryptos will be converted from theirs into Ethereum or whatnot to invest in the project. There's a few other that I kind of have to keep under wraps. They're pretty early, but that I think will do some cool stuff that I'm following and advising and working with. So I'll put the information out when they'll allow me. But I'm definitely very excited about those. Apart from the Ethereums, the Stellars that are already kind of out there doing some great stuff.
Awesome, man. Thanks. Cody, I know you're involved in some projects you're pretty close to. Talk about one or two of those projects.
So a project that I was kind of advising on and following very closely that is now already on the market. I still think it has a tremendous upside potential is Token Pay. It's a privacy security type of coin. They recently purchased a small portion of a bank over in Germany, and the ICO is now done. It's trading on the market. The reason I still like that project a lot is because I think it's on some very small exchanges. They have not hit the big exchanges yet, and I think once the bigger exchanges they get on there, the coin and the adoption is going to go up. Right now, it's at a really good price. It's like $3.50 a coin. So I would be looking and researching that one that's already on the market. Off the market, there's two projects that I'm really excited about. One is videocoin.io. And I'm not affiliated with this, but this is one of the ones that I think is going to make a big splash here in the next year. Halsey Miner, the guy who is heavily involved in Salesforce and a bunch of other amazing projects, is backing this thing. Looks like they've already raised like $50 million like that. They haven't even gone public yet. But imagine like video infrastructure, like for YouTube and that kind of stuff, but decentralized. Right. So anybody with a computer that has free space could play some role in providing video infrastructure for people wanting to run blockchain enabled internet stuff. So I would look at that right now and start to do your research. And the other one is called 4new.io, like the number 4new.io. And this one's really cool. If they pull off what they're trying to pull off, I'm going to be really excited because one of the biggest hurdles in our space right now is the cost of electricity. So, to mine profitably, the challenge is everybody's out hunting for like 3 cents or below electricity per kilowatt or whatever it is. And so these guys went out and bought 2 power plants, and they're just not normal power plants. They're waste to energy power plants. So there's like this feel good, like, hey, they're going to convert trash into energy, and then they're going to pump that energy into a room next door, which is a big mining operation. So imagine a power plant with a mining operation on site. So that's kind of their vision, is to build these, and anybody that has what they call a KW token will actually, they've tokenized the electricity that is coming out of these power plants. And you are essentially, as a token holder, you have the control over a kilowatt of electricity. And so you can make a decision what you want to do with that. You can trade it, you can pump it over to the mining operation. There's a lot of different ways to potentially profit from this. So I would look at that. The challenges I see with that one right now, they have a lot of coins that they're going to start with, and then they're saying that they're going to burn them, which essentially means they're going to send them to a wallet address that is not retrievable. And so if they do that and they bring the coin supply down, I think that they got a shot for investors to do well with them. But projects that are big like that, like I like it because it feels good, but they got to pull off the power plants, buy all the mining equipment, run the mining equipment efficiently, build the infrastructure around it to monitor it and allow investors to play in that world.
Awesome, man. Thank you.
So those are my favorites right now.
I dig it. Thanks, guys. That's some good stuff. I'm going to close up here, and we're going to talk about some bonus gifts and maybe how you can contact these guys. If you want to talk to Ryan Dombrowski, obviously you have a Netflix show. That might be the only way. But before I do that, I want to remind everyone that you can own this entire training summit through our cryptocurrency training kit. It's going to get you downloadable access to the videos, audios, transcripts, and bonus gifts of the 40-plus speakers, all for $297. You're also going to get a special bonus training called the Crypto Mastery Program that Roger Bryan and I are producing now. After the summit, the price of this training program is going to go to $497. So if you'd like to own the materials and refer back to them at your convenience, now is the time. And especially with all the good information, I mean, this is just one example. Cody's list, Ryan and Jonathan, and their insight, you definitely want to own that. So let's finish up with bonus gifts, ways to contact you guys. Cody, tell us about your bonus gift and how can people find more information about you?
Yeah, I wrote a book called Cryptocurrency Secrets. If you go to cryptosecretsbook.com, you can download that and check that out. That's a great way to really get a good foundation in this industry and see which part of it you want to play in. Obviously, follow me on social. I would love to connect with you. I'm big on Instagram, got a little over 1.2 million followers on there. I'm very interactive with my followers. So Clever Investor on Instagram, pretty much every other social platform. And John, I just want to say thank you, brother, for bringing me on. This has been really cool, really fun. I love talking crypto. And, it's great to, after all these years, still be connecting with you. It's crazy. Man. It's crazy how far we've come.
It's fun. Yeah, we've come a long way, man. I appreciate you. Ryan Dombrowski, you may not want anybody to contact you. I don't think you have anything to give away. What's up?
I've got nothing to give away, nothing to sell. I'm pretty low-key these days and can be tough to find at times.
The hermit.
Yeah, but always happy to help people out and answer any questions in the crypto space. You can definitely find me in Totally Crypto Facebook group and just ping me in there.
Awesome, man. Thank you for being here. Jonathan, how do people get a hold of you and anything you want to share?
Sure. I'll also say thanks for having us. This is great and nice to have a chat like this. I'm in John's groups, Totally Crypto, and I'm a part of DCI as well. I'm not a huge social media guy. I took a little hiatus. I'm getting back into it, but on Twitter, I'm Accelerate Life. I also help run a site, cryptonewsletter.co, just an informational newsletter with tips and, stuff about emerging cryptos, etc. So you can check those out, and I contribute there. So right now, those are the main ways.
Awesome. Guys, I really appreciate it. I appreciate your friendship. I appreciate you being on here. I think it was unbelievable what you brought to everybody with your knowledge and your perspective on things. So thank you, guys.
Absolutely.
For having me.
All right, guys. And everybody else, we're going to see you in just a couple hours. And don't forget, we've got a whole day for you on our Totally Crypto Summit. And if you want to schedule that, go to www.totallycryptosummit.com. All right. We'll see you soon.